Hello friends, welcome into the Cowboys Report presented by the MyTV Choice app. Go download the app today at mytvchoice.com to get rid of commercials during March Madness. I'm your host, Tom Downey. Let's break down the big news around the Cowboys, the DeMarcus Lawrence extension, what it means right now, what it means down the road, and of course, what Tank actually got. So if you missed it earlier, which I'm sure you guys haven't by now, because you all follow me on Twitter, at WhatGoingDowney, right? I know you guys all don't. Anyway, it's a 5-year, $105 million deal for Tank with $65 million guaranteed. With the way the deal is structured, the Cowboys can get out of it, if needed, after 3 years. The guaranteed money is $65 again. The per year is $21 million. This was always about right for DeMarcus Lawrence. And for those of you that subscribe to the Cowboys Report and or follow me on Twitter, you already knew this was the general guidelines for Tank's deal. My projection all the way back in February was 5 years, $104 million, $20.8 million per year, $64.5 guaranteed. We're off by $1.5 million in total among all of those, $1 million in the overall amount and $0.5 in the guaranteed. I like the deal for DeMarcus Lawrence. Now, there were reasons to be concerned about the way the negotiations were going, but if you had told me, hey, Tom, the Cowboys are going to work out a 5-year, $105 million deal with Tank, I'd be like, boom, that's perfect. So grade the extension of DeMarcus Lawrence. For me, it's an A. I love the deal. It's about right for DeMarcus Lawrence. He had an argument to say, hey, I deserve 22 per year. I deserve even 23 per year. In the end, the Cowboys didn't have to pay that amount. So for me, it's an A grade right there. I am very pleased with how things have gone down. Now, we'll also get to some of your answers too, because we put it up on the Cowboys channel, the poll. A was 68%, B was 21%, and then only like 10 or 11% for C, D, and F. That's about right for me. If you gave it a B, I understand where you're coming from. It's an easy A for me, but I'm not going to argue too much with a B grade. Now, in terms of DeMarcus Lawrence's surgery, that is going to happen on Wednesday. Remember, he needs a procedure done on his shoulder to correct a torn labrum, which, by the way, he's played through for 2 years. So Lawrence has been one of the top 5 edge rushers in the NFL the past 2 years, and he's been doing it on a bum shoulder. Now it'll get fixed, and at least he should be the same guy he's been the past couple of years, correct? I certainly think so. A 3 to 4 month recovery window for DeMarcus Lawrence means he'll be back in mid-July, early August. Plenty of times to get back to being the guy we all know, and I think for the most part are glad the Cowboys paid. Now let's take you back to February when we first had our DeMarcus Lawrence contract projection video. Here were some of the most liked comments on that video. Japadi President says he wants to pay Tank $22 million. I'm sure he's feeling pretty good right now. Tom Downey is the greatest. I agree with your username, my friend. Says $20 million there, which about is in the same range there. Not everyone was on board, though. Papa DeHorn said 10% for D-Law, no more than 11%, which is about what the Cowboys came in. Still got to pay Dak and Zeke and Cooper. In a little bit, we'll break down how DeMarcus Lawrence's extension doesn't have a negative impact on those future deals. 30PK 1966 says 18 to 19 million tops. Didn't show up for the big game against the Rams. Nobody did on defense. Had to be consistent if he wants max kind of money. Fun fact, by the way, this year in the playoffs, DeMarcus Lawrence outplayed Khalil Mack. And then Shane Winfrey, if they make him higher paid than Mack, we will be broke. Good news, Shane. The Cowboys did not do that. And oh, by the way, once Frank Clark and Clowney get their big fat contracts, and Tank's output both of them the past couple seasons, you'll feel a lot better about this deal as well. So describe your feelings. We'll give everyone a fresh new shot here. Describe your feelings about Tank's deal in 3 words or less. 3 general words: relieved and satisfied. How about that? That's how I'm feeling about the DeMarcus Lawrence contract extension there. They've taken care of it. It's now out of the way. All parties are happy there. There might have been some disagreements there, but Stephen Jones talked with DeMarcus Lawrence, I think it was on Tuesday before that deal got done, and now they're all happy. And Tank has got his big contract, and the Cowboys have their premier pass rusher. Today's show is brought to you guys by the MyTV Choice app. Go check it out at mytvchoice.com. Get rid of commercials during March Madness, and instead have chat sports content sent right to your TV because the app knows when a commercial comes on. That's mytvchoice.com. Let's move now to some of the overarching both short-term and long-term looks for Lawrence and his extension. Here are the cap hits, $11.1 million in 2019, and the dead cap hits over the lifetime of this contract. So the way it's structured, the first 2 years, you can't cut Tank no matter what. If you cut him, you have to pay him extra money because that's how signing bonuses tend to work out. They would all get pushed up into the year that he's cut. You could maybe move on from him in 2021. You're not saving all that much. But after 3 years, that contract very much becomes cuttable, especially in 2023. That's when the biggest cap hits come. That's when the least amount of dead cap is left for DeMarcus Lawrence. Make note of the cap hit being $11.1 million. We'll come back to that here in a little bit. But for the Cowboys in the short term, this is now, even both for right now and next year and beyond, I like this group. I was worried about defensive end as a team need because there were questions about Randy Gregory, Taco Charlton's future, whatever that is with the Cowboys. You traded for Quinn and you extended DeMarcus Lawrence. That solidifies you in a really good spot for this year and puts you in a more comfortable position long term because no matter what, you've got Tank playing at one defensive end spot. So how confident are you in the Cowboys pass rush? Go ahead and grade it on a scale of 1 to 10 for me. I'll put it in the 7 range. I would love to find one more interior defensive lineman, be it a big guy to help Antoine Woods, or I think where I sit more likely right now, a premier pass rusher if you can find such a player on day 2 long term to help eventually probably replace Malik Collins and Tyrone Crawford, who we'll get to later on. Now, in terms of the long-term look here, the contract status, Tank, of course, is under contract through the 2023 season. Robert Quinn only under contract through this year, i.e. in 2020 he becomes a free agent. Crawford's got 2 more years left on his deal. Dorrance Armstrong there for quite some time. Then it's Kerry Hyder, who will be a free agent after this season. Randy Gregory, who's just a big question mark, and then Taco Charlton. And one note on Taco. I am only going to list him as under contract through 2020. He does have a 5th-year option for the 2021 season that the Cowboys have to pick up sometime next offseason. As of right now, I don't see the Cowboys actually picking up that option, so I'll only list him through 2021. So with Lawrence locked up long term, the Cowboys' top team needs have changed for the 2019 NFL Draft. Safety and defensive tackle still my top 2 focal points there. But then running back, which is a backup need, moves up. And then it's kind of a general grouping here. Wide receiver, tight end, offensive tackle, defensive end, cornerback. You're looking maybe for guys to replace down the road. You don't need someone to come in and play starter snaps. But if you lose Robert Quinn, if you lose some combination of Randall Cobb, Tavon Austin, Allen Hurns, if you lose La'el Collins, and if you lose Jason Witten and Schultz and Jarwin to develop in 2019, that becomes a need for 2020. But for me, the top need remains safety. Then it becomes defensive tackle. But I do want to hear from you guys watching the show. What is the top need for the Cowboys? Let me know in the comments section. At pick 58, assuming there's no trade up or trade down, I want the Cowboys to target a safety. I think that's the best route for them, both short term and long term. Let's move then to some salary cap discussion here as it relates to the Dallas Cowboys. Now, with the extension of DeMarcus Lawrence, that actually brings down Tank's cap hit. It saves you around $9.5 million overall, which you can use for signing somebody else in terms of free agency, which I doubt. More likely extending guys, which we'll get to here in a little bit. But it puts you at around $18 million in cap space. Different sites have different numbers. Heck, even the NFL and the NFLPA have slightly different figures internally right now. Now, that $18 million does not include your likely draft pool spending, slated right now to be about $4 million. And typically teams want around $5 million. It ebbs and flows depending on how your roster is constructed and which team you are. But around $5 million for emergencies like, oh my God, someone got hurt, we got to go sign somebody else midseason. So we'll just round and say you still got like $10 million. That's plenty of money to help potentially extend other players, or you could even free up more by cutting guys like maybe, or redoing guys' deals like Tyrone Crawford, Allen Hurns, something like that. Now, in terms of the largest cap hits this season, it's actually not DeMarcus Lawrence. He's only 4th. Tyron Smith's number 1, Zach Martin's number 2, and if you really wanted to, you could bring down those cap hits further by extending their deals and basically turning in this year's base salary into a signing bonus. Let's say Tyron's got a $10 million base salary. You do a signing bonus instead, frees up an extra couple million this year and pushes that money off in each year down the road. Amari Cooper on a 1-year deal. We'll get to him in a little bit. Travis Frederick, of course, as well. And then some interesting names. Tyrone Crawford's there at number 6. La'el Collins at 9.93. The Cowboys traded for Quinn. He now has a top 10 cap hit. Then there's Zeke. And then there's Byron Jones as well. So those are your largest cap hits. By the way, number 11 is actually Allen Hurns at $6.25 million. Today's show is brought to you guys by BetDSI. Go check them out, chatsports.com/bet. They're going to have all kinds of NFL draft prop bets. First off, if you follow me on Twitter at @WhatGoingDowney, we'll make some money together. Use that promo code Cowboys120 at chatsports.com/bet and make a nice little profit off the NFL draft with BetDSI. That deal, by the way, Cowboys120, that promo code, you're not going to find a better one out there. It gets you a 120% deposit bonus at chatsports.com/bet. Now remember, we mentioned this earlier, the cap hit for Lawrence this year is only $11.1 million, but it does jump up significantly in 2020 to almost $22 million. That's a lot of money. But here's the thing. The Cowboys, even with Lawrence's deal factored in, are slated to have right now a projected $85 million in cap space. And by the way, that $85 million does not include a likely salary cap rise, we'll just say $10 million like it's been, or money rolling over. So that 85 could very well be 100 if the Cowboys don't extend anybody else right now. The problem is, the Cowboys do have a lot of key free agents and extensions to hand out. This is why that cap base is so heavy, because guys like Robert Quinn are not counting against that cap hit in 2020 right now. Amari Cooper's deal is going to be up. Lael Collins' deal is up. Byron Jones' deal is up. And so too is Dak Prescott's deal. Now, the Cowboys remain in very good shape. Now, we'll break down some projections here. One guy we haven't done, though, is Amari Cooper. So do you want an Amari Cooper contract projection video? Let me know in the comment section. Y for yes, N for no. Some other notable free agents here on this list. Anthony Brown is there, Randall Cobb, Sean Lee, Malik Collins, Jason Witten. Now, remember, the salary cap on a macro scale is a real thing teams have to deal with. You cannot afford to re-sign every single player on your roster. That's just not how it works. But individually, you can sign any one player. Now, it's funny to me, I like this next point a lot. The largest cap hits in 2020, the way it breaks down, the first five make sense, right? Tank, Zach Martin, Tyron Smith. By the way, Smith, in 2020, his cap hit is outside the top 10 among offensive tackles. That's insane. Frederick is there at number 4, and then Tyrone Crawford. Then things get really weird. Zeke Elliott, who, by the way, this is technically his 5th-year option in 2020, the Cowboys are going to pick it up. That's about what it's going to come out to. So some sites won't list it, but that's what it's going to come out to. Cam Fleming, your swing tackle, which is, by the way, it's a team option, so you can just say goodbye and save a bunch of money. And then Leighton Vander Esch, Taco Charlton, and your damn punter is there at number 10 overall. That's pretty funny. Now, again, the players that are due for an extension in terms of who could be next for the Cowboys. Dak, of course, is going to be a big one. Amari Cooper, Byron Jones, Jalen Smith, and Zeke Elliott. Take note of those last two guys, by the way. Jalen, a restricted free agent, so you don't have to get him done right now. And Zeke's under contract through this season and next. There isn't massive urgency there, and you do have the franchise tag for one player if you need it. So who should the Cowboys extend next? Let us know in the comment section. I kind of ranked them in the order that I think that they should go. It should be Dak Prescott, then Amari Cooper, and then Byron Jones. And you can even make one of those guys play out this year. Maybe Byron Jones in particular makes a lot of sense there. Now, perhaps you're concerned about, Tom, how are they going to afford all these players? Here are just some general rounded extension amounts, and they're kind of on the high side too. Dak at 29, Amari at 17, Byron at 14, Zeke at 15. That's $75 million per year. There goes your cap space, right? Not really. So those extensions might average $75 million per year, but that is not how they would count in 2020 or even 2019. Because Amari and Zeke are already under contract for 2019, it's only going to be about $11 million extra. Zeke and Amari already have big contracts for this coming season. So if you extend Amari right now, it's only going to be about $4 extra million per year for 2019. It's not that much. And by the way, as we saw with DeMarcus Lawrence's deal, you can and likely will set up your structure in a way that for like Amari Cooper, for example, his actual deal might go down a little bit. And Dax, by the way, if you extend him now, because he's already making his base salary this year, it's going to remain low as well for 2019. So much like we saw with DeMarcus Lawrence, it's not really a $20 million cap hit this year, or $20 million cap hit. Instead, it's more like 11. So if you structure the deals properly, you can push out some of the money later on down the line, and as the salary cap grows, and for Dak Prescott, for example, even if you pay him $29 million, if you do it before the Russell Wilson extension, all of a sudden, Dak's deal that might be top 5 this year could legitimately be out of the top 10 in the coming years. That's why it's always better from a long-term financial standpoint to get deals done early. Now, today's show is brought to you guys by the MyTV Choice app. Go download today at mytvchoice.com. Get rid of commercials during March Madness by downloading the app. Instead, it'll send Chat Sports content right to your TV. That is mytvchoice.com. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.